Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to go over Apple Intelligence. We're going to explain what it is and what are some of the features that it has. And then we'll also go over some of the privacy features that Apple has built in so that your data is safe. So let's get into it. Let's start by going over some of the new features that Apple has added with this new system. So with Apple's new AI models, you will get a bunch of new features that work across the whole system. And most of them, they don't really require an extra app. So all you have to do is use your phone as you normally would, and it will just improve a lot of the things you would usually do. So for instance, they have a lot of new writing tools. So let's say you type out an email and you want it to rephrase it. There's this feature where basically the system will automatically rewrite the email that you wrote based off everything you provided, and it can put it into different tones, like maybe a more kind tone, professional tone, things like that. So there's some things you can do with like writing tools. You can also have it proofread it and make sure there's no spelling or grammatical errors, so it'll make sure that it's phrased in a correct manner. And there's also a way where we can summarize what you wrote. So maybe you type out the email and you're like, oh, this is a little bit too long. You can have the AI summarize what you wrote, and you can have it be in bullet points. You can put it into a table. You can put it into a list view. You can do a bunch of things just like that. So there's also this new thing called image playgrounds. And so with image playgrounds, it allows you to generate an image based off a prompt that you give the system, or with these new bubble like theme ideas that Apple's going to have built in. You gotta have to see it for it to make more sense, but it makes it a little easier than having to type out a prompt and everything. And they also have a new feature called Genmoji. And with Genmoji, as the name implies, you can generate your own emojis. And you can do this by typing out a prompt of what you would like to see in an emoji, and the system will automatically generate it. And it doesn't even have to exist in the world. It just will create it for you. So probably gonna be a fun tool to mess around with. And personally, one of my favorite new things that is being added because of Apple Intelligence is we're finally getting a big revamp to Siri. So if you have an iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, you will be able to utilize the new Siri. And so Siri is going to have a whole new UI. Instead of the circular ball that we're all used to, Siri will be on like an outline across the whole phone. And it makes it feel like it's more ingrained into the system rather than just an extra thing. Siri will have a better understanding of what you're saying now. So like if you miss up some of your words, like you slip up a bit, Siri is still going to understand what you're trying to say and won't just get confused. So that's going to be a lot better. It's going to make Siri a lot more useful now. And you can also ask him multiple things and make it kind of complex. Apple has this pretty good demo that they did on one of the WWDC videos, and they ask for a bunch of this information, and Siri just pulls it all out. And it just does a great job of getting the thing that you want done. So that's going to be a lot better. And there's also a new tap to Siri. So basically you double tap the bottom of your phone and it will pull up a search, kind of like a search menu. And you can just type whatever you want done and Siri will get it done silently, and you do not need to say a word. And Apple's also doing something surprising, is they're implementing ChatGPT built into iOS. You don't need to make an account, it's free, and you'll get to use the latest ChatGPT model, which is 4.0. And whenever you're going to ask something that Apple considers world knowledge, Siri will ask, oh, do you want to proceed with ChatGPT? And they do this for a specific reason, which I will get into later, but it'll make sure that your permission is given for Siri to use ChatGPT to perform a specific action. So when it comes to privacy, everyone probably wonders, how does this affect their data? Well, they've thought about that. So most of the requests that you will do with Apple Intelligence are processed on device, which means it will never leave your phone, and Apple can never see any of the requests that you do. It's being processed on your phone's processor or your iPad or Mac. And some requests are a little more complex, so they may need to go to the cloud, but Apple has thought of a way to make this private still. So it's called private cloud compute. And basically your request will be analyzed or processed on an Apple Silicon server. So it's still being run on one of the Apple Silicon chips. And then the minute your request is complete, your data is instantly deleted. And Apple makes sure that the code that's running on the servers is constantly checked by a third party to make sure that everything is secure. So you don't have to worry about your data being seen by others. And so this is a good move by them. And any requests, like I mentioned, that use ChatGPT, you need to give certain permission each time that you're going to use ChatGPT. So you don't have to worry, oh, this data is going to get shared. You'll be all good. It'll ask permission depending on what you ask. And basically that's what they've worked towards privacy. So this is something where you really don't have to worry too much about your data. You should be all good. And now let's go over device requirements. This is where it's a little more limited, and this is mostly due to a processing limitation. So as for iOS, if you want to use Apple Intelligence, you need an A17 Pro and later chip, which would be the two devices at this time, the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And then if you have for iPad and Mac, you need one of them with an M1 chip and later. I was reading into this, and a possible reason for why this is so limited is RAM limitations. So on the A17 Pro and the M1, they all have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, which the previous chips do not. So the models do require a little more processing power. We also need that extra RAM. So for now, it's going to be more limited, but I bet in the future, each device Apple makes will be suited to be able to run this model, but time will tell. Oh, and I forgot to mention that this will be available in beta form when iOS 18, macOS Sequoia, and iPadOS 18 launch in the fall. So just keep that in mind when it does release. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, drop a like and subscribe to see more videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.